Welcome to our week of Webisodes. We're into spring and we're looking towards summer.
Yay.
And we have something very special. Now, you know about the die cut cards. We've got lots of options. Well, we have something brand new. It's called Foldover greetings.
These are unique folded cards. The greeting is already there for you,
Yeah.
and there's so much you can do with them.
And as a matter of fact, we're going to share some of that with you. Come play with us. And I'm happy to introduce you to Foldover greetings.
Yay.
All five, count them, of the different styles. Now we're going to start with
start with the thanks foldover, but within each of these you're going to get 5 cards and 5 envelopes, and as always, ideas of how to use them. So we'll start with thanks. And do you want me to show them?
Well, let's just go. We've got thanks,
Okay.
birthday, love.
We have hello and flower. The flower is unique in that it doesn't have a greeting, but it has an area for you to put whatever kind of greeting you want.
So this is kind of the
that's
universal one.
Right, and you'll notice that the hello card and the flower card look very similar, except that hello has that hello at the bottom, and then there's that blank area on flower.
Okay, so we're going to set these aside and we're going to look at thanks in detail. We'll start with this one.
Thanks.
So the package has, as Gail said, 5 cards, 5 envelopes, the ideas on the back, and the cards are large size. They're 5 by 6.5,
Right.
which is our favorite size because that's the largest you can mail in the U.S. with regular postage.
Plus it has envelopes, and there is an image on the front that shows you in different shades of gray and white the 3 panels that you'll see on this card, and that looks like this. So here's the actual card, and here's how you're going to get it. Kind of hard to see this way, but when I open the first panel, you can see the first panel says thanks. That opens to the left. The second panel is a rose up in the corner. So 3 panels, so you can do a lot of decorating on that centerpiece, or you can embellish one panel or the other, and then they fold over like so to create that 3-panel card.
Now, just as they are, I think they're pretty elegant.
They are. They're really beautiful.
But to be able to see them a little better, well, here's an example, and this is from the package. What we've done is we've taken a paper and simply cut and glued it to the back of the center panel. And then on the red one, we just inked it, just lightly inked it with an ink pad. So that's that light pink.
Right.
And then for this one, we backed it with paper.
And I'm going to show you how we did that.
Great.
Okay.
So then you've got this really easily done. And okay, yes, you caught me. We did have to add some gold jewel dazzles just to give that rose a little more shimmer.
Just a little pop.
And maybe a little on the leaves, yeah.
But it's fun. I mean, they are fun to decorate. There's lots of little openings, etc., to add things to.
Oh, I guess we added jeweled border dazzles over
border
there. Okay,
dazzles
now
too.
I'm done.
So here is that card originally. I'm going to open it up. So you've got that it is one piece. It is 3 panels. And we cut that centerpiece, that center pink piece, you just glue that to the center like so. So now you've got that center panel covered, and then you just fold over this half, and now you've got pink on the inside of your card, which backs that. Now you can leave it like that, but I wanted that thanks to pop out a little bit more, so you can take green paper, and this is from the sweet, oh, I can't remember the name of the set. Sweet something or other.
Sweet Life?
Sweet Life, thank you. Place this on the back of that panel. Now take a pencil and you're going to trace around the edges of this. I have a little glue stick that's wandering off to the side. I keep trying to stop it. Okay, so I'm going to trace around and make sure that you can see very simply around the edge. And then you're just going to cut right on the inside of that traced line so that it will fit. So once I'm done tracing, I am going to go ahead and go all the way around. Once I'm done tracing, then I pull this out and you can see where that line is. Then you cut along that traced line. Now I've already done that. It looks like this. And then you want to glue it to the back of this. Now the easiest way to do that is to put the glue right onto that panel.
I'll hand you a glue stick.
Okay. Got this glue stick, and you're just going to go on the back of this panel so that the paper will stick on there really simply. I think I would start right around the edges, just like so. And it's best to go sort of up and down really so that you're not getting glue all over in those cut areas. Just a little
Just
around like that.
dabbing it.
Yep. And then place that paper. This is a double-sided paper, so you're seeing the other side of that print, and place it on the back. Just want to make sure that you can't see the paper around the edges from the front. And then when you fold it over, you've got paper on that side. So that's one way of doing it. You could stop right there.
Yes, you could.
Or,
and it would be just fine.
And it would be just fine. Or you can open that card up. Let's say that that piece is glued in place. Put it with the panel, with the rose panel face down, face up. This is the side you're going to see. And then I've got a pink pastel fluid chalk ink and a cosmetic wedge. And you can just start applying color to that really simply. Like that. So just very lightly adding color, and just go across and just add a little bit at a time, and until you've got the whole panel done in this nice light pink. I really like it on the rose. And so once that's all done, then you've got the completed look.
Right, just like this. So pretty simple to do if you think of it in terms of steps. This is one step. This is an optional second step.
Right.
And the third step is backing that. So pretty easy to do. Now this is a process that we're going to use multiple times. So to get a very different look, here is another way that you might. So we've done the same thing in that we've put the paper in the back, this time a black with charcoal dots.
Right.
And then this one just simply inking the flower, but inking down here, and that's going to allow the thanks to show, and then additionally on the edge, doing some inking.
That's right.
So you would do it the same way, using the cosmetic sponge, or you can do a blending tool and just go right along that edge.
So super simple. The greeting is already there. Most of the elements are there. You're just going to embellish it a little bit. I do want to point out with the projects that you're seeing, you are not going to see all of these projects on the gallery.
Okay.
Some of them you will. I think this is one that you're going to see. The first one that I did, you're going to see that one. But don't look for all of them, but we do have a nice selection of some of the projects we're seeing.
You can watch the webisode.
You can watch the webisode to see it.
Now, Gail had a brilliant idea, and her idea was to take this apart.
Take it apart.
Yeah. So.
And I don't know if I'm the first one who thought of that, but we certainly did it. We took it apart. In fact, I think it was Paulette that came up with that idea first. So here's your card. Now, if you open it up, and you cut this panel off, and I already did it. I was going to show you, but I found that I've already done it. Just cut along that fold. So now you've got this piece separate.
So set that aside for the moment. We'll use it in a minute.
We will use it in a minute.
Absolutely don't toss it.
So here it is like this. Then you're going to take some other kind of beautiful paper that you like. This is a textured iridescent paper. Cut it to suit that back panel. And now you've got a card that does that.
Wow.
Absolutely beautiful. Which
if you want to add some dazzles right there, you have got a really striking card.
Right.
But that's not the end of it. Remember that rose?
Here it is.
Okay, there it is. How about if we cover just our regular card with paper and tear the edge of that rose?
So just tear from here to about there. Just tear that off, and now you've got another fantastic
glue that down. We added some dazzles. We did color them in blue using a Spectrum Noir pen, and then we added some gold border dazzles.
So this is one of the cards you're not going to find in the gallery, so take a good look at it, but it's so simple to do.
And so gorgeous.
Right.
Now we're still using that thanks set. I mean, we haven't gone out of it.
It's the same set.
Now, because this is, you can use these panels separately, here's another idea, and this was your idea. And look at that. This is the envelope. You get the envelopes along with it, so there's the envelope. But what can you do with it to make it even more special? Well,
and how did we get that? So that's not the actual panel. That's just an impression. I think you probably already figured out. As with any of the fold-over greeting cards that you are going to see here, you can use these as a stencil.
Absolutely.
So I opened this up. I actually turned it over this way.
Just so it would fit better.
Right. So let me get my, if you pull that away, I'll get my supplies over here, all my little fluid chalk inks. I used 3 different fluid chalk inks, Concord, Pink Sky, and Clover, and then for a nice bright yellow, I used the Distress Ink Squeeze Lemonade, which I love. So place this right onto the bottom of your envelope. And
So you're going to use it as a stencil?
You're going to use it as a stencil. You can tape that in place. That's going to make it a lot easier. I've got cosmetic wedges here, and I'm going to start with pink in the center. And I've got that right here. And so just start inking through. This isn't a real juicy one, but I can, there we go. Get some of that pink right in the center. And I think I even went around the edges of the rose and added a little pink around the edges too. And then I moved on to the purple. So, and it's really a fun process. I mean, when you think about these cards as all of a sudden I have all of these stencils that I can use.
Yeah, pretty amazing.
Right, just from these cutout areas. It is pretty amazing. And so I did that. I added green around the edges, and the result
is this.
Was that.
Now, this is gorgeous, and you can do it as often as you want. You can do it on tags, you can do it on labels. The envelopes is just a perfect thing because they're flat and you can write your address if you're mailing it. But you ended up having a beautiful piece that was
card.
Ready for something else.
Here's what I used to stencil on. I did that whole area just to get that beautiful rose envelope. But now, if you finish this with some more, you have a matching set.
You do. So
you have the card and you have a matching envelope.
Wow.
And all I had to do was ink that one panel. You notice I didn't have to do anything to the inside.
Right.
You can write in there. You can add a Dazzle's greeting if you want. But
how
anyway.
Gorgeous is that? And how
Great.
clever is that? So here's the deal. You get 5 cards in envelopes. Keep one of the cards that you're going to use as a stencil.
Right.
And use the other 4.
Or get another package because they're fun.
Okay.
Right.
So that's with thanks. We're going to move on to our birthday. Okay. Same idea, 5 cards, 5 envelopes, and just like Gail said on the other one, this in this case it is shades of tan and brown. This is just to illustrate the 3 layers, because if we showed it in white, it really didn't photograph well.
Right.
So we gave you a finished example, and of course there are more on the inside of the package, as well as this one. So if you want to do a brown one, that's what it might look like. Sure. But we're going to start with this one. And here is what it starts with. And again, just a couple of steps. So we put the dot paper on the back.
Right.
This was inked before it was put.
Before you put it in place, so you've got that nice black edge around. Fold over this side, and you notice you don't have to do anything to that panel.
And this panel was inked black.
It's heavily inked black.
Right.
And I want to show, that you definitely want to open it up and place it on your craft sheet like that. And you can use the pad directly on there, just heavily ink that. And then when you fold it over,
one tip, when you go to do this, you might want to put a Post-it note or stencil tape.
Exactly.
Just that way your ink pad won't get onto the back. It just looks a little messy. Now, if you're wondering about those flowers that are flashing, we'll show you where they came from at the very end of the webisode. Right. So this is a 2-step.
It is a very simple 2-step card, and this is another card you will not find on the gallery, but it is. You can see how simple it is.
It's in the package.
Okay, that's a pretty similar version to it, so you can look at right on the package for that idea.
Now here, excuse me, here is another idea, all done with ink pads.
Fun.
So this time the birthday is relatively unembellished, and the inside is not too much, but the happy is happy.
Right, so it's kind of an interesting process. Choose which panel you want to work on. So you can maybe work on 1, you can work on 2, whatever strikes your interest.
Right.
In this one, several different colors were used. So you've got this beautiful blue on the bottom, then you're going to use your stylus or your cosmetic wedges to make a nice green, yellow, the red and the purple, and it's a beautiful rainbow just like that. But when you add it to that birthday on the front, it just completes it. And these are the wildflowers, the Prima,
the white wildflowers.
The white wildflowers. Add a little ink to that, and it just makes a beautiful backdrop.
And yes, we did do teal dazzles, so that just
that's just a given.
Very fun.
You know what I think is kind of fun though? Do you see where they are? You notice they're in the center of the flowers here. If I open this up, Those are strategic. So place it like this, and place them on your centers here, and then when you open it up, you're going to have these nice little confetti dots all over. It's kind of fun.
Now, we talked about taking our thanks and tearing it apart.
Right.
Well, we're going to take our birthday. And why I think this was really fun is because it allows you to be happy anniversary, happy Mother's Day,
Exactly.
happy Father's Day, happy Valentine's Day,
And that's
happy anything.
Happy anything, just happy. And that's done by, this panel was cut off completely from the card.
Right.
So what you're seeing here is just this panel that's been placed on a paper covered card.
Right, so we've covered it with paper, glued this down, and then done some computer journaling, adding gold
Adding a
border
strip
dowels.
on there, right. So this is a card that opens like so, and that's just a covering. So it's kind of fun that you can cut it apart and use it with so many different uses.
I don't think we've really ever had anything quite like this
No.
to be able to do that.
Absolutely
so it's just the
not.
versatility. So happy can be happy anything. Just wanted you to know that. Now we're going to move into love. Yes, we are.
Hello.
Now love has 3 panels, as you would think. And again, examples on the inside. We've got this one in blacks and charcoals. You know, I'm kind of liking that look. I would add maybe some dazzles over here, but we're doing that just to show you those panels. And here is one finished. Now, this has got, well, here's the first panel. That's what it looks like. You can see it's been inked.
It's been inked, and you notice a little bit of blue and purple and little dots around the love area, but the rest of it was just in pink.
Yeah, I do need to tell you, and I'm sorry that I don't have the project here, but you can also put Versamark here, just on love maybe, and do embossing powder, and it's quite striking.
It's beautiful. I think I've seen this entire piece done as well in embossing powder, like a silver or gold. It's just striking, and then the next layer that it's over is just beautiful.
Now the second layer is the heart, and we've backed just the heart with the textured iridescent paper.
Right. So you're just going to trace that around the piece, and then cut on the inside of that trace line to back that.
And we
simply.
did put a different textured iridescent on the inside, a little bit of the purple jewel dazzles.
You can use papers, you can use suede paper, all kinds of holographic papers. Oh, look at that. Once it's all folded together, it just makes this beautiful image.
And our art director, Kyla, just did a wonderful job in dreaming these up and executing them. They're just gorgeous. Now, we've talked about taking them apart. We're going to take our love apart, which sounds worse than what it is. And what we did is we're leaving the love.
I'm going to show that.
Oh, okay, good. You do that.
Let me just show that first. So here was the card. When it's all put together, you've got the love panel on the left, you've got the heart on the right. But what I did was I cut off the left panel. So on the left, I cut right along that fold. Now I've separated it. Save this, because you can use that on the front of another card.
Yes.
Just like that. Or use it as a stencil like we talked about. Now you've got this piece, and now this is on the right, and you're going, oh, that's on the right. That's kind of different. Fold it over to the back. This is also something you can do with any of the other cards. See what they look like when you fold them over to the back. And once you do that, you've got this.
You've got this. You can do 2 papers on the inside. Just make them slightly smaller than the 5 by 6.5. You might just tear one. And look at the strategic location of Thinking of You dazzles. Isn't that fun?
Yeah, that's a great card. That's really fun, just by pulling it apart, and you can still use that one piece that you cut off on another card, which I think is amazing.
You can use them as they are. You can tear them apart, cut them apart, and you can flip the panels around to just get exactly what you want.
Okay, let's see the next one.
The next one is hello.
Hello.
And hello. This one was done simply with chalks. So we've got the 3 panels. So we've got this one and this one.
Inks? Okay.
I said chalks, didn't I? It's with ink pads. So sorry.
This one purely with ink. There's no paper added to this. So the inside panel was inked blue. The outer panel, the flower panel, was inked in a yellow, kind of a buttercream yellow, and the front inked a green. Just a few little dazzles added, and you're done.
In this case, it's the copper jewel and border dazzles.
Right, so that's a fun look.
And I think this is just really, really, really fun. Now,
What can you do if you cut it apart?
What can you do?
Okay, if you cut it apart, say we cut off that hello all on its own.
Right.
What can you do with that?
Well, you can put it on top of a paper covered card and ink maybe the edges of it, maybe a little bit on the hello, add some dazzles, maybe a little strip of the texture iridescent, and you've got a striking card.
So very simply
fun.
done, and I'll show you at the end what you can do with the rest of that card as well.
You're not going to do that now?
Well,
you do that later?
You know, because it's actually part of the flower card. I'll show you in a minute.
Our last comment, our last of our 5 is the flower. Now the flower is the hello without the hello.
Right.
Okay, does that make sense? Do you want to show the card itself?
Okay, the card itself looks like this. I have one here, and here's that open area where normally, here I can do this. On the hello card, the front of it has that hello in place. It's the same except for that hello is there. This one, the hello is taken away so that you can add your own greeting. That's the left panel. The right panel are these great flowers, and then that opening.
Now let me show you the package, and we'll get in a little close so you can see that example. In that example, the back panel is paper covered, and then the front panel is paper backed. Just like you did on the very first thanks card.
Right.
And then some dazzles down here and some ribbon, sending warm thoughts.
So
now,
a very simple way to do it, just back it with papers.
And what we have here is another example where we've done a similar process, different colors.
Front panel has been backed with paper. The
This
center,
Go ahead.
The center panel is covered with paper, and then just the centers of the flowers were backed with paper. So you've got just the centers there.
Just the centers, but also these flowers were inked.
Right. So just those little petals were inked. And actually, I just thought of a way to sort of mask off when you're doing that. You can just take a piece of paper and go underneath those petals just like so. Just ink the petals and the center.
Right, and then back that little circle.
Right.
And then you have this. And down here, I think this is really brilliant, is you can take your stencil tape or Post-its and mask off a line and then ink here, the same color as your flowers, and then stamp.
Isn't that nice?
Yes.
I like the little strip of paper there as a border. And this is from the new thank you stamp set.
Exactly. Is there no limit to your awesomeness?
Right, so there are lots of different thank you stamps on that. Very fun to use. And that's the example. Put your own greeting, make it your own.
Now, tearing it apart. This is brilliant.
Cutting it apart because we don't want to tear all of them, but I am going to cut them. And when you do, you cut off that front panel, you get this. Okay, so now you've got that panel. Now, we talked about at one point, well, you could turn that this way.
Right.
And you could, and you have a beautiful card this way.
Yes.
Or try turning it this way.
Make it horizontal.
And what does that look like?
Well, it looks just like this.
Beautiful.
So we've got, I love this. I just think this is really neat. So paper on the inside. Over here, we've added a strip of the same paper, so you see it connects it. And we did add some of these flowers and a great big stamp, also from the thank you stamp set.
Isn't that a great idea?
And some dazzles. So just really, really great. So
brilliant idea.
Can you tell why we're excited? There's just no limit to the creativity of this.
These are great ideas. Remember, all of the projects that you saw today are not all on the gallery. You're going to get some of them on the gallery, and then you're going to get more of them on the packaging. Ideas right there.
Now, we do have the packages. That is what we're going to offer in our Week of Webisodes offer. There is another way to buy this, and I just thought for a moment I'd show it to you. This has 40 cards. Same cards, 40 of them all together, 40 envelopes. You get an idea sheet. You also get the these flowers that you saw on some of them.
And this is the only place to get them is within the kit.
Yeah, sorry, it is. They are foiled. They're also die cut. They're gold on one side. They're silver on the other.
Easy to pop out.
There are the textured iridescent papers are available separately. There are 5 of them in this kit, so you can see those colors.
8.5 by 11. They're great colors.
Yeah. There's also 602, I think, dazzles because you've got the 2 jewel. These are half sheets, and then you've you've got the borders. Then you have 24 papers.
Amazing.
So
these
they're
are single-sided papers,
Yeah.
all just a range of expression of colors
Right.
and prints, lots to choose from
24 of those. They're all variety, just all sorts. Mostly small patterns because that's what's going to work really well
Right.
behind these fold-over greetings. And then the cards, well, that's 40 cards and 40 envelopes. It weighs 1.33 pounds.
Right, and you're going to get the designs, you're going to get 10 each of some of the designs.
10 each of, let me see if I can do this, 10 of
Happy birthday.
and thanks and hello,
Hello.
and then 5 love, just a little love, 5 love, and then 5 of the
flower.
blank.
Right.
So a couple of different ways you can
Quite
do
a
this.
bit. Nice big heavy
Right.
package. Or you can buy them individually like we're showing here. It's so fun to play with. You have to get some of them and play.
So that's what we have for today.
I'll put those there too.
And we'll see you tomorrow with even more new toys to play with.
See you then.